Few places on Earth experience the land loss that we see in coastal Louisiana every day. This was the coast in 1932. And here is what scientists warn it will look like by 2050 unless something is done to stop the land from melting away. A sea of red. 2,000 square miles, an area the size of Delaware, vanished. The Mississippi River, locked in a straitjacket of levees, no longer nourishes the delta. Oil and gas canals serve as veins of salt water gnawing at the marsh. And much of the land subsides. It simply sinks under the surface of the Gulf. This color-coded map shows where land disappeared over certain periods of time. For example, this purple area here shows the huge swath of land that was washed away in Hurricane Katrina in Breton Sound. Against all those negative forces, there are places where land has been restored. Along the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain, east of the Twin Spans, a dredge carves away at the lake bottom. And a pipe delivers another type of black gold, mud that has pieced back together 600 acres of shoreline wiped out in Katrina.
For future storms and so forth that might, God forbid, come into this area, that we needed that protection.
The land comes courtesy of QIPRA, a state and federal program that built some of the very first coastal projects 30 years ago. Over time, QIPRA has built 210 projects. We hear about barrier islands as the first line of defense. A lot more work has been done to piece them back together than you might realize. For example, 30 miles of these ribbons of sand have been restored from the mouth of the Mississippi River all the way over to Port Fourchon. Imagine 30 superdomes worth of sand pumped onto islands that were in danger of disintegrating. Fines and penalties from the 2010 Gulf oil spill paid for the most recent work.
Now we've got a major speed bump for any sort of storm surge that comes through.
Back to the color-coded map. A few areas in green actually depict where land has been added since 1932. For example, these areas near the mouth of the Mississippi River. Dredging projects built some land instantly. In other places, it took decades. In those few spots where the river runs free of levees, it dumps sediment in a more natural process. In Cubit's Gap on the east bank of Plaquemines Parish, the river has steadily been building real estate since the 1870s.
We can actually build more resilient wetlands using the river, using the sediments in the river to build wetlands and sustain the wetlands that we have into the future.
We find the most dramatic example south of Morgan City, dredging projects here at the mouth of the Atchafalaya River, and then to the west of that, this artificial channel. From space, you can spot an accidental delta. The Army Corps dug the Wax Lake Outlet in the 1940s, a shortcut from the Atchafalaya River to the Gulf. It was designed to spare Morgan City from flooding. By the late 70s, river sand and mud had converted open water to land.
And when you feel it, you can feel the silt and you can feel that particles that are in this landscape that help build this land.
The state's coastal master plan envisions a combination of river diversions and dredging projects to put more green on that color-coded map. Despite their ambitious plans, state officials concede they can only slow the rate of land loss. They have managed, though, to stitch back together some of these vital defenses. John Snell, Fox 8 News.